Hello, and welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas, day number 10. So today we're going to make another border. We've done borders the last 3 days. We're going to make one more border, and this one is using a blog that Crystal Matei had done. And sometimes it looks just so busy, and you're like, there's no way that I have the time for this. But I'm going to show you that it's super easy to do, and it's very beautiful. We're just going to do this side border, and it will turn out like this, where I'm using the Christmas paper, of course. And we're going to add a little accent by punching this out with one of our Border Maker cartridges. It was demonstrated by another advisor, and I think that she did a fabulous job doing it. And want to make sure that you see how easy this is, that sometimes we don't think about taking that extra step out of it. All right. So we're going to just move that off to the side for this quick second. And some of the things that you're going to need is we need 6 different strips of paper. All right. So let's go back and show that. All righty. So we are making this page by Crystal Matei. All right, so we're doing strips, and we're going to learn how to lay those strips out to make it look like that very, very cool type of a weaving effect. And so we're going to make this border. And so I'm going to show you exactly what you need. And this is the border. We're going to punch it out. Then after we get done with it, we're going to go ahead and punch the border out and put the paper behind it, just to kind of give it a different look, a different style to the border, one more aspect of it. All right, so what you will need is you will need your border maker system and a border maker that stays attached. Okay, so it is completely filling the entire gray space. And if you look at the top of yours, it completely fills up the gray space on top. So this is going to stay on top of what you're going to do. I'm using the candy cane stripe for this border. You're going to need 6 different types of paper. So we need 6 strips. You need 3 of each. So if you see papers that you like both sides of, like I use these, then that's great. Then you only need that one sheet. And if you have some others that you just want a single sheet of, then you can use those. I didn't want to use this side, so I used the red stars instead. All right. You're also going to need a base paper, which we're going to cut at, I'm sorry, at 2.5. And we're going to cut another paper that's going to be the second base that goes on top at 2.25. We also need, I would advise you to use one of the cover sheets because it's nice and thin. So as we're having to punch through this 2 pieces of paper, we don't have to worry about it. So we're going to use this, and I am also going to use this paper for my white base. Okay, so that's my 2.25. So let's go ahead and let's cut those papers first. So we're going to cut this first, your paper using your cover sheet at 2 inches. All right. Just cut that at 2 inches. This is going to be our template. All right. So we need this one for our template, and then cut another piece that is going to be what we're going to put that template on when it is all completed. That'll be at 2.25. And then you will need one more that will be your total base piece at 2.5. Right? Just lay those off to the side. We're going to lay the trimmer off to the side, and we're first going to take our 2-inch strip that we did, our template that we're doing. I'm going to have you put it all the way to the top of your cutting mat. And I want to make sure that you have it centered, because we're going to draw a line right down the middle of it. That's going to help us line up our pieces. So you need to take your ruler, which I just had, and no longer see. Well, all right. You're not going to worry about it, I guess. We will just use a different ruler or something else to be able to make this straight line. There it is. Okay, it's clear. Can't see it. All right, so let's put it here, and let's push this out a little bit. I just want to make sure it is set. Put my ruler on. I'm going to do a line right down the middle. All right, so line it up and draw your line right down the middle. Then you're going to take this and move it down to your 7-inch line. You could put it right in the middle if you want to, your 7-inch line. And you need to put it right in the middle on that 6. So now your line that you drew should be going right on the 6-inch mark. And we are going to go ahead and take our ruler and put it on our 45-degree angle. So that 45-degree angle will be at this top corner. All right. And you're going to put that there and you're going to draw the line. We're going to do the other side, exact same thing. And if it moves, don't worry about you just lining it up because you have all these places now marking it. We take our 45-degree line again. That's going to be right in that corner. Right, and we go up and we have our line. So we are ready to go. Next part is kind of, this is very, very therapeutic and very fun to do, but we're going to go ahead and take our silicone mat. It's going to be easier because we're using a lot of repositionable tape for this. All right. But now we need to cut our strips. All right. So we need to cut these strips up. So we really need one piece of each color at 1 inch. All right. So I'm going to stack mine. And you want to make sure that they are as stacked as, on top of each other the best that they can because they're going to be building off of one another. Put it at your 1-inch line. And I'm doing 2 at a time. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut them at 2.5. So your first cut was at 1 and 1. And now you're going to cut it 2.5. And you need 3 of each. So you need 6 colors, 3 of each. All right, so I'm going to do this. Now I have pre-cut some just for the sake of saving time. So I'm going to go and put these here. And then I need to cut one more because I need that middle color. So just make sure that you have 3 of each. And I know I'll have 4, but I can use those others for something else. All this paper out of the way. Anymore. And I'm doing that at 2.5. Cut again at 2.5. So, like I said, I had already pre-cut these just to make sure that you didn't have to have the pain of watching me cut because you're gonna have the pain of watching me put them on. Right? So 3 will do it. And I cut 4 just to be safe because who knows? You never know. All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take the first piece that we have, and you need to make sure that you have enough tape on that. All right. And we're just going to put it on this line. Put the tip up at the top there and just put it right there at that line. And we see this little corner, we're going to fix that later. So don't worry about it. So you're just doing it on that first line that you had. All right. That's going to be our top one. Take your second one. And you're now going to put it on the next line, but we're going to take this bottom corner and we're going to line that bottom corner up with this line, the line we drew, and the bottom corner is going to be right on that line that we drew. And that doesn't mean that it might be all the way at the top, but we're concerned about this corner, not the top corner, and put that on. All right. Then we take our next one. And we're just going to lay it next to this one. We're working on that bottom corner is going to be on the line, and we're making sure it's smudged right up to the next to the one that we had laid first. All right. This is going to give us a nice straight border all the way down. Take your next color, and we're just going to keep building on just like that. We go here, bottom corner, make sure that this is nice and tight. Here. And it's going to hang off, and we cut it off later on. Okay, so don't worry. We will take care of this. Same thing. And I am going to switch these up because somehow 2 greens ended up next to each other. And I'm going to do this. Make sure it's tight fit up here and that it's on that line. The point of your bottom piece is on the line. Okay, and then I'm going to do this one. All right, so we're doing the same thing. Bring it down. Make sure that it is on there. If there's a little bit of a snibble left, then just cover it. Okay, just keep going. And then we just repeat it over and over and over. Okay, going here. Such a unique technique, but so fun to, it's a great way to use all your scraps too, isn't it? Okay, so let's go here. Deanne taught me this one on a video. And once again, it's Kristlyn Matei's, I'm sorry, Kristlyn, Matei's original design, and it's on the blog in the CM library, I would call it. And you want to make sure, don't be chintzy on your tape runner. The reason being is because when you punch, if you were just doing it to just have the border the way the border is designed to be made, it's not going to be a big deal because you're not going to be cutting it out. And so it's not going to need to, there won't be any loose pieces. But when we're cutting it, we're definitely going to have some loose pieces here and there because we're exposing it. All right, and just keep going. Oh, that bottom corner is the one that's always going to set us straight. Okay. A little overkill there, I think, but whatever. Okay. Keep it going. Silicone mat really, really does save. We're getting down to the bottom now. Pull this up. We're getting down to the bottom, and you're going to get all concerned at the bottom. Don't. It's all good. We're just going to cut up some little pieces later on. And it's there. And I am going to go ahead and put this here. I can do that because I've got it centered. I'm just going to do it in the 6-inch line. Really doesn't matter, but I'm just trying to keep all my trees the same. And if you want to go ahead and do one more, you can. Otherwise, we would just cut those corners out. Just go ahead and put one more on there because I just think it's a little bit easier. Okay. So if we're looking at the red, so the red is our first one. The little piece that we need left is the last one. So that's going to be this little green. So I am going to freehand cut these. I'm not going to use my trimmer because they stick to the bar that comes down and I just don't want to deal with it. So I'm going to first cut this base and see when I get my little green tree piece out. Plus I feel like I have a little bit more control. And there's the little piece of the green. This is so teeny, teeny, teeny. So you're just going to make sure you have enough paper and stick it on. I'm going to trim that off. Okay. And then we just keep trimming it off. And once it's trimmed, it's so gorgeous. Looked messy before, but now it's gorgeous. All right, fantastic. All right, so now I can just move this stuff out of the way because our next thing is we're going to go ahead and we're going to punch our borders. Look at it, it's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Love it. And there's one side that's more prevalent than the other, and that's fine. So I'm going to use that prevalent side to go ahead and do my border maker. So now when I put my border maker in, for this one, typically we take it and we put it and we go all the way in the tray and go all the way to the top. All right. We're not going to do that, but you see that we're not going to hit this magnet at all. So we need to use Post-it notes. It's just an easy way to extend this border in there. All right. But then once you get the Post-it notes on, I want you to go ahead and pull it back just a titch, like 1/8 of an inch, just eye it up. It's good. And that's so that the border, we get as close to the edge as possible with our border maker. All right, then you're going to punch the entire border all the way down. The reason you're not doing a thick cardstock base as that template is because it's really hard on your border maker housing to be able to punch that. All right. So we've gone ahead and we punch this. Take your Post-it note off and just be careful, just in case you didn't secure it as tight as you thought you might have. All right, and you are done with your border maker. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and put them on our base. So you can just have to kind of play around with your colors at this point. All right. So this is the candy cane stripe. I do like the red. I like the green better. What about a white underneath there? And I still like the white best of all. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and use my white as my first base. Right, and I'm going to go ahead and place it on there. Okay. Gorgeous. And then I'm going to take, I didn't do the gold before. I think I'm going to do gold as my second base. All right. Because I really do like the gold. So I'm going to go ahead and do gold as my second base. So go ahead and put this on. And you are done. Technically, you are done. But you see that I put this 1/8 inch strip down here just to distinguish it a little bit more. You can leave it the way it is, or you could go ahead and cut a 1/8 inch strip. Your 1/8 inch is the next cutting line. So we have our main cutting line where the 2 is. If you just go over to that next cutting line and cut it, that is 1/8 of an inch. Right? I'm just going to use my tape runner. I'm just going to put this right next to it, and it kind of gives it a nice, very nice border. All right. So that is our project for this evening. Hope you have a good day. I hope you do it and have a fun time with it. Thanks so very much.